الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Here Allah Azza wa Jal drawing our attention into something very important, that Allah wants the Muslim to behave like this, that they should never speak any foul language. So Allah Azza wa Jal said, لا يحب الله الجهر بالسوء من القول. Allah doesn't like the public mention of evil except the one who has been wronged. Now, you might be swore at, you might be called names, you might be insulted, you might be verbally insulted, but you're not expected to actually either answer back or go and talk to people. Oh, so-and-so said so-and-so about me, and he was saying this. So Allah doesn't like a believer to speak foul language, evil language, or anything which has implication that he's like, badly grown up, badly taught, except if somebody wrongly treated and you want to talk about someone in authority, the police or the court, or some people who could make a change and stop the other guy from insulting others. And he's saying here that Allah Azza wa Jal did not say don't talk bad language full stop, because if people don't talk, sometimes become really boiling inside. They become really annoyed, but they can't talk because Allah said don't talk. So Allah exempted them if they are wrongly treated, that they have the right to go and complain and say precisely what they heard, what they were told, how they were insulted. There's a hadith which even my family, even people talk about, when the Prophet ﷺ, Ma'iz, he was confessing with the adultery, the Prophet had to ask him the rude word, have you done this to her? And he said yes. But here he is a matter of life and death, so he's not going to apply the sentence on Ma'iz unless he hears exactly what he has done in plain language used by people in these circumstances. So even when he mentioned, shaitan, when he runs away, he break wind, he said, and he said it in Arabic. So unless you really, you think that the Prophet ﷺ never said any of these, words, he did in certain circumstances. So you're allowed to go and say, he said this to me, and take your right back. And Allah Azza wa Jal is hearing and knowing. He has heard what you said and what you didn't say, and he knows what you have in mind. So you cannot come and cheat Allah Azza wa Jal. So if he said something wrong to you, exactly what he said, you could say it to court or police. But our teacher said, it has to be said to somebody who could make change. But if you go and talk to people just randomly to slander him, doesn't make any change. You keep slandering him, and he said, no, I didn't say, and he said, and so it doesn't end. But if your aim to actually teach some people some lessons that you can't go on talking like this, and you mention it to people in authority or people who could make a change in him, then they will accept that, yes. You can't go randomly and talk. I had a nurse, I've mentioned this before here. I had a nurse when I was working in Wales. He said, when you swear, what swear language you use? What do you say? I said, why? Have you heard me swearing? He said, no, that's what I'm asking. I said, I don't swear. Didn't need to swear. So people don't recall you saying any bad words. Even the children now.
Sorry, I'm going to share this one. Maulana Safraz Madani Sahab, he taught me this. It's a joke. In Saudi Arabia, a Pakistani man was arguing with an Arab. Arab knew a few swear words in Urdu, and the Pakistani man knew some in his language. He was swearing at him, and When the Arab stopped swearing at him in Urdu, he started swearing at him in Arabic. And the Pakistani man started holding his hand and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Now he's reading Quran, I'm praying."
So, so this is I think this jacket. If anybody can tell me what that means, written on the back of the jacket.
Uh,
I can't say it. So
At the bottom.
you have to.
says, I can't read it. It's some other language.
Can I help
Yeah, I was
you? It's
just
like the front, isn't it?
2 days ago. I was in Sainsbury, and some English guy behind me, and he said, "What's that word says?"
Yeah.
I never read it myself. I didn't know the word behind that. I said, I don't actually know. I never noticed that they were a word. I hope it's not a naughty word. He said, we hope so.
Yeah.
But I said to him, I said, there's a lot of English words. In Arabic, it's very naughty, very foul. And there's English, there's Urdu word I heard the other day. I mean, that's a rhyme, a hymn. And they were saying words which the guy who was bad intention, he circled the word in red. In Arabic means really bad. So you need to be careful sometime. Um, and English word could be really nice word, but in Arabic it's really has a bad meaning. My wife, when my children were little, they were a chocolate. She deliberately took bars of chocolate, and they used to come to her and ask for that chocolate. And when they ask for that chocolate, it has very rude meaning in Arabic. And they say, "Why you keep your children keep saying this word, and they shouldn't say it." So you need to be careful even in other languages that you don't say words which has meaning in
Yeah.
the other language rude.
When I was 12, I was staying at my auntie's house. In those days, I was learning French at school, and I was reading loudly, and I said, "Écoutez," and that means listen.
Listen, yeah.
Listen, écoutez, right? And it also means you dog. And she said, "Ye kya keh rahe ho? Why are you saying this? That's very rude." No. Écoutez means listen. And in her language, it means you dog.
Yeah, yeah. In one of the comedian
Silence. Écoutez.
Écoutez.
Yeah.
Répétez.
S'il vous plaît.
one of the comedian, a Kuwaiti, he died now. He produced a play called Bye Bye London, and he was a Kuwaiti who coming here with a lot of money, and he start trying to gather girls around him. And this girl came and she said to him, "Anta kalbi."
Yeah.
But it's Qaf,
Yeah.
my heart.
Oh,
Kaf, my dog.
dog.
الكلب أبوك شي. أبوك is your, the dog is your father.
I think in Arabic as well, you have to be careful between nationalities because Sudanese guy from Sudan, very nice.
Yeah.
And he one compliment me and he said, Alex, is into Lebanese akarit. Akarit, akrut
Very bad meaning
very bad. In Sudanese, very smart. Akrut is very bad. So I came to him. I just want to punch him. Said, "You my brother, I meant no, because you have to be absolutely careful."
Yeah, the Morocco lady, Morocco people, when you say to somebody, "I'll take العافية," may Allah give you the
give you the
health
fire,
and
the fire.
in Morocco, may Allah burn you, give you the fire. عافية means fire.
Yeah.
So they get very angry. We say, "Allah يعطيك العافية." So when you talk to people, you need to be careful with their language as well. And Allah Azza wa Jal followed it by saying, "إن تبدوا خيرا أو تخفوه أو تعفو عن سوء فإن الله كان عفوا قديرا." So if it happened that you are badly treated, they swore at you, they insulted you, you don't have to repeat with the same thing. You show nice, okay, thanks, I'm going. Just leave. Say something nice and go. I hope you don't say this to other people. So something nice. You say something nice, or you just keep it in your mind. أو تخفوه. and walk away. And better actually أو تعفو so forget it. So you won't keep it in your mind. I forgave him. I said, you don't go home and keep, ruminating on what you had. So you better forgive him and move on, because you only accumulate more and more insult. You just walk on, and at work is unlikely to happen, but usually happen in a street or train, or people who don't care about you, are not going to see you again. You don't know who they are. They might throw words. When we went to the street, remember in Solihull, inviting people to Islam, we were hearing all sorts of abuse language. People just want to offload what they have about Muslims.
When I do Palestinian demonstrations, yeah, a lot of people walk past and they swear.
Yeah.
It's
So you
very
need.
tempting to engage with them and argue with them, but it's not.
Yeah, in this situation, I always walk away, because no matter whatever you say, and then someone might say something, they misunderstand it or something. They just want to challenge, some of them. They just want
They
to
want a
start,
reaction.
start a fight or something, and don't give him that privilege. You just walk away. So Allah is just saying, hey, تعفو and so just forget it and walk on. فإن الله كان عفوا غفورا. Allah is, one of his characters is afu. So you are appearing godly in your behavior. You are, Allah is the afu, and He forgive all His creations once, twice, 10 times, and He doesn't get stick. He can destroy them, He can punish them, He can torture them, but Allah is afu. Leave Him. Like how you look after your small children, you give them time and time again, time again. Then Allah says, إن الذين يكفرون بالله ورسله ويريدون أن يفرقوا بين الله ورسوله ويقولون نؤمن ببعض ونكفر ببعض ويريدون أن يتخذوا بين ذلك سبيلا أولئك الكافرون حقا. So here, when Islam came, when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came, and he's the last messenger, and no prophet after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so whoever refused to believe in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is kafir. He cannot come and say, we don't want to believe in Muhammad because sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because there's no other one coming. If you don't believe in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then you are not a believer. The Christian, when Jesus came, they refused to believe in Jesus. They said, we believe in Musa, we don't want to believe in Jesus. You could say, okay, let's see whether you will believe in Muhammad or not, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But when Muhammad came, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they refused to believe in him, that's it. After that, they are kafirin, because no other messenger coming. That's on one hand. On the other hand, if they don't believe in all the prophets equally, they don't know what Allah is and who is Allah. Because monotheistic belief is to believe there's only one God, and He sent one message, the Aqidah, to all the prophets. So there's no point accepting one, refusing one, accepting two, refusing three, because you don't know the message, or he doesn't want to believe. He just pretend to believe. We believe in Musa. Allah later say, oh, you've done this and this and this and this to Musa. So you were saying, you're not saying, actually, when Musa was around, you said to him, show us Allah Azza wa Jal. So to Musa, you were so horrible. So don't pretend that if you bring this, oh, we don't need to believe with you because we believed in Musa. So here, those who disbelieve in Allah and His messengers, and they want to differentiate between Allah and His messengers, so you accept this one, you didn't accept that one, and they say, we believe in some, we don't believe in some. Like the Jews don't believe in Sulaiman. They say he was a magician. And Allah Azza wa Jal sent the ayah in the Surah Al-Baqarah, وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا يَعْلِمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ. So when Sulaiman caught those who were playing magic on people, he took all their books and he buried it. When he buried it to stop practicing magic, the shayateen told the Jew where the books were, so they uncovered the books and they said, oh, Suleiman wasn't a prophet, he was a magician. And this is the books he had. It wasn't even his books. It was Harut or Marut, the teaching of Harut and Marut. So they were dividing between one and the other one. They believe in Dawood. Why? Because he made them a kingdom. They don't believe in his son. So they want to believe in Muhammad if he make them in charge, but he wouldn't. They had to believe like any other person and follow the message. And they want to have like adopt in a way which they like, and they wish to change the religion, and they will have difficulty doing that. So I saw a video, I posted to the think tank. Somebody was talking about why it's extremely impossible to reform Islam. He said they reformed the Bible, reformed the Torah, and they managed to change a lot of laws in the Bible and in the Torah, in the Gospels and in the Torah. When it comes to Islam, he said, even if we want to change, who has the authority to say you are right? We don't even have one Islamic body in Britain to have a final say about anything. We have so many different mosques and different groups and across the Islamic world. Generally, all the Muslims accept the teaching of Allah in the Quran and the Sunnah. But when it comes to like a political decision or economical decision or a certain attitude toward some new things, you won't find anyone has the authority to implement it. Even Azhar, even the Muslim Congress, even the Muslim League. There's, this in Jeddah and in Egypt and in Syria. You wouldn't. And he said, what are you going to reform? Quran? Allah said in the Quran, it's being completed, finalized, and cannot be replaced. In Surah number 5, in Surah Al-Ma'idah, اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. If Allah said it's already completed, sealed, delivered, you're not allowed to change anything. So how are you going to reform? And how are you going to reform the hadith, which is explained in the Quran? So you won't be, and they were unable. So those who want to split between the prophets, when it comes to Muhammad ﷺ, they have no choice but to believe in him as he is. Believe in the message as it came down. You cannot add, you cannot delete, and you cannot change. And those who try to do that, they are the true unbeliever. أولئك هم الكافرون حقا. Because if you refuse the messenger, how would you know that Allah said this or didn't say this? How would you know Allah wanted you to do A, B, C, and not do E, F, and G? So when people come and consider like the sun is God, and they worship the sun, or worship the stones in Stonehenge or something, or worship the cow. Worshipping a god means that you accepted his orders to do A, B, C, and accept his forbidden to things E, F, G. What the cow forbidden you to do, what the sun forbidden you to do, what the Stonehenge asks you to do or not do, is worshipping the way they do it. It's not actually worshipping a god. When the lovers say he worship his wife and he refused to even bring food to the house, that will become meaningless. So the worship is to obey and refrain from doing things, and no one gave instruction but Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah Azza wa Jal gave instruction to people who He created to do what He wanted them to do or not do certain things. Then Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, on the other hand, The first one, Allah has prepared for them a humiliating punishment. But those who believe in Allah and His Messenger and do not split between any of them or create, favor any of them against others, those who Allah will give them a great reward. And Allah is forgiver and merciful. Now this ayah next, يسألك أهل الكتاب أن تنزل عليهم كتابا من السماء. Again, it shows that they don't understand what Allah is. So they came to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the people of the book, and they asked him, Allah said to him, they ask you to send down a book to them from heaven. Now the wrong in this, first, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not send down any books. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it was revealed to me, I was received, I was told. So the book sent to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't send to himself, because they don't believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. They think Muhammad created the Quran sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it's that guy who he goes and talks to. He taught him the Quran. وَلِسَانُ الَّذِينَ يُلْحِدُونَ بِهِ أَعْجَمِي. They were a Persian guy who the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to meet him. They said, oh, that Persian guy teach him the Quran. How idiot they were. How would he able to teach them the Quran? Why he can't even speak Arabic? He's just Persian, you can hardly speak 2 words in Arabic. And the same, they actually refusing Allah Azza wa Jalla, refusing Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, refusing the message to come to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Arab, and they said, لولا أنزل هذا القرآن على رجل من القريتين عظيم. We wish the Quran has been sent to the top of guy in Mecca or the top guy of Taif. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, how يقسمون رحمة ربك? Are they the one who divide the mercy of Allah? So first, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not send to himself the book. Allah sent the book. If Allah sent them the book individually, you don't need Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They'll be, if you are having a contact directly from Allah. So they asked Ali ibn Abi Talib, they said, did you believe in Allah Azza wa Jal because of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or did you believe in Muhammad because of Allah? He said, neither, none of these two. I believed in Allah Azza wa Jal because He's the creator. I believe somebody has actually created this universe. And Sha'rawi was saying, there's a lot of books on who found the electricity, who created the steam engine, and they write books about them, who actually made the fertilization, the crops start producing more, and who was the first one to write the English language properly, was the first one. But they don't talk about who created the sun and the moon, and which is the most important. These big phenomena, you need to write who created it, where it came from. So these people go and they don't accept Allah Azza wa Jal because they refuse to think that Allah created or believe that Allah created all what's around. And Allah Azza wa Jal sent Muhammad, Ali ibn Abi Talib said, Allah sent Muhammad to tell me, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what's good for me, what's bad for me. So I believed in Allah. By Allah, He is able to make people believe. He doesn't need the prophets, because all what He created is sign that He is the maker. Like I told you before when I was talking to my student, I truly believe they were a carpenter who made these tables. I truly believe there's a bricklayer who built these walls. I don't need to see him. I don't need to talk to him. I just to see what he's done. Oh, there is a really clever roofer who made the roof. There's a clever carpet fitter who fitted the carpet. You don't need to know who he is. You don't need to meet him. But you can't deny that he exists. He exists because we've seen the end result of his work. So he said to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't worry about them, because they asked Musa more than that. They asked Musa to show them Allah Azza wa Jal. Even they believe in what Allah is and whose Allah is totally wrong. when I listen to a lot of Christians who disagree with Christianity, what's wrong with them is they only knew about Allah Azza wa Jal from the Bible, from the Torah, what the church describe Allah with. And that description about Allah Azza wa Jal in the Bible, nobody will believe in it. Because they set Allah Azza wa Jal on the throne, old man with white hair, white beard, and he sent his son, because he doesn't know what's happening on earth. Go, son, go and find out. And then there's a lot of suffering. Okay, I will make my son suffer and be crucified, so I will have the ability to forgive mankind. Why don't you forgive them without killing your son? So there's a lot of things about Allah that will make the common, the general person disbelieve in Christianity. But when you come to Islam, there isn't anything, any gap or any fault in the Aqidah to comment on. Like when Allah Azza wa Jal said, "Huwa al-awwal wal akhir wal zahir wal batin," He's the first, He's the last, He's the hidden, He's the seen. He's the first without a start, the last without an end. He's not confined to a time or a space. Then when scientists say the universe is infinite, there's no end to the universe, fine, doesn't bother us. While for the Christian, the earth is round and keep moving. So is he moving around the earth, forgiving people? So when you have the wrong perception about Allah Azza wa Jal, you will not believe. So these people, they just want to see Allah with their naked eye. How would you see something have no start and no end? When you see the cup, you can see the cup because it has top and bottom and edges, so you can encompass the cup. While لا يحيطون به علما, Allah Azza wa Jal, you can't encompass Allah. لا تدركه الأبصار وهو يدرك الأبصار. You can't put Allah Azza wa Jal in a space or time and see Him. So the whole understanding who's Allah is wrong, and they've done more than that. And even they were shot with the sa'iqa, and they died, all of them. Sa'iqa, which have massive sound. مثلهم كمثل استوقد يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت. When the sa'iqa comes, the massive sound, Allah said they put their fingers in their ears to reduce the sound, and Allah He said they put their fingers, while they put the tip of their fingers, but the sound is so massive they push the fingers inside, all of it, to stop the sound. So they were hit by the sound and died because of their unjust question. And then after that, they made the calf as a statue, and they start worshipping the calf out of gold. After all the revelation revealed to them and all this evidence showed to them by Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, and in spite of that, we forgave them, and we gave Musa a strong power over them. They were unable to kill Musa because they killed a lot of prophets before, and he was very, had mighty power. I mean, like, he stood against Pharaoh, and Pharaoh couldn't do anything to him. And Allah said also, more than that, Allah put the mountain on top of them, that if they have to believe, or the mountain will crush them, because they gave the promise to believe. And He told them to enter the Holy Land, and by making prostration, and they refused. And we told them not to fish on Sabbath, on Saturday. Sabbath means Sabbath, from do nothing, no movement. جعلنا الليل سباتا, because people now sleep and motionless. So they shouldn't fish on Saturday, and they did. And we took from them a covenant again. In spite of all these, they didn't believe. All the punishment, all the Allah made them, the 70 of them die. They kept arguing with Musa, kept changing. So I'm not going to listen to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they didn't. And until now, they will not listen. They will go and sign so many treaties. Now, the Gaza Treaty is going to be completed. They keep stumbling here, stumbling there. This is their habit. You can't change them. Now they stumbled now against Syria, so they moved in to Beijing, and the villagers in that Beijing came and gave them, ambushed them, and they shot 6 of them, 2 of them generals, and it's not the government, it's not the army, so they couldn't do much. They came again 2 days ago. The army were inspecting areas for weapons, and they came across a massive, mighty spying center. And in no time, the planes of Israelis bombed it, and they killed 6 of the soldiers. What's this spying center doing in around 20 miles from Damascus? How Bashar al-Assad allowed that to happen, spying on the whole area? So they have habits which is from the time of all the prophets before us. They came across Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They couldn't win. They lost. And there's more about their behavior, inshallah, in the next page. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika.